Always high volume, 20 sets minimum.
2 hours on arms?
Exactly. And that's coming from the guy who got voted best arms in the history of the sport, so.
Oh, Scott, that microphone drop went all the way to the Earth's core.
Hold on. Before you say what you're going to say, listen to the last thing you said.
Yes.
Forget all the other shit on the internet, listen to me.
So there, just nullified whatever you're about to say.
Oh, you f***ing they. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength, and I am a former professor of exercise and sports science, and co-inventor of the RP Diet Coach app and Hypertrophy app, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and a competitive bodybuilder, and I have one thing that I know for a fact is something I'm real proud of. Real talk, I have really big arms. You can type all your comments, ain't gonna affect my arm size. The problem is that I'm overselling my case because there's levels to this. I have big arms, I do. They measure about 14.5 inches pumped. Other people have enormous arms. Then there's IFBB Pro arms. And then at the very top of the tier list, just slightly above God himself, is a Mr. Lee Prist, who had maybe the best arms on a pro physique ever? Yeah. Forearms, biceps, triceps, shit, even his delts were massive. And when I say massive, I mean like nonsense massive. Like when you guys see these videos we're going to be looking at today for Lee Prist's arm training tips, you're going to wonder if you have arms at all. And you might even apply for disability insurance citing that you have no arms, and you're going to send your picture to confirm this with the DMV, and they're going to be like, oh, damn, your arms are this small, kid? Oh, here's your goddamn DMV sticker that gets you fucking parked in the handicap spot because your arm's tiny. And my arms are tiny, and everyone's arms are tiny compared to Lee Prist. So let's open up our wisdom parts of the soul, let the chakras connect and flow with the universe. Scott, are there any hippie bitches around yet?
Keep going, we're going to track.
Just keep it up. They'll be here. And let's learn from Lee Prist and at least ogle at his gargantuan arms. 3, 2, 1. Big arms.
That's like anything. If you want it to grow, you got to punish it.
Scott.
People want a big chest, they do. Heaps of chest.
Heaps, eh? Quick guide to Australian English. Heaps means a lot of. Like, there's heaps of people at this party means there are a lot of people in attendance at the celebration. Tonight, news at 11, more Australian English.
Punish chest, they do the same for legs, back, shoulders. So why wouldn't you do the same for arms? If you want them to grow, you got to punish them like any other body part.
Heaps of volume is a big fucking deal. Quick science aside, the single most relevant variable for hypertrophy is how much load you have on the bar. If you're training with a weight that's heavier than your 30 rep max, and in most cases real world wise a little lighter than your 5 rep max, anything in between those checks that box of enough load, great. The second most important variable in hypertrophy training probably is relative effort. It's gotta be a tough set. That means anything like even 4 or 5 reps away from failure versus like 10 or 15 away from failure is gonna cause much more growth. Close to failure, check. The third biggest difference in hypertrophy outcomes comes down to volume, the number of sets you do per week of working a given muscle group. So if your arms are pretty big and you're doing 5 sets of biceps per week, I can almost guarantee you they'll get much bigger over time if you start doing 10 sets, and probably bigger at 15, and probably bigger at 20. Now it's curvilinear, it kind of levels off, but it never levels completely off, so it just keeps going. For biceps and triceps, according to actual research on actual humans, that even well into the 30s of sets is better for growth in the short term, with recovery in mind, than 15 sets or 20 sets of biceps or triceps. So volume is fucking king, which is why Lee Prist doesn't mess around and is going to do a shitload of it. And if you need bigger arms, train 5 to 30 rep range, train close to failure, and if whatever volume you're doing, you feel pretty recovered, but you're like, would more volume actually cause more growth? The answer is almost certainly yes.
Always high volume, 20 sets minimum. And if you look back, Sergio Oliva, Arnold, it's a lot of guys that had the big arms or did high volume. So
Yeah. 20 minimum for high volume is real sensible. If you're doing like 5 sets for your biceps and triceps per week, you're doing 10, you're just not even in the conversation for really having tried high volume. So you got to up that shit slowly. If you used to 5 sets for arms, next week do 6, the week after do 7, and then very slowly over time with some deloads in between, climb up into the high teens and then into the 20s and see how shit goes. But yeah, high volume, that's not like relatively high. It's high.
I've always done high volume, 6 to 8 reps, heavy weight. But then on some movements, cables, and that cable curl, tricep push downs, I do maybe 10 to 12, maybe 15 reps. Yeah, but just punish them hard.
I love the rep range variation. There's at least one good study, and probably more now that I haven't checked in a while, that shows that doing some slightly different reps, even in the same workout, can get you more growth than doing all the sets for the same rep range. So if you're doing mostly sets of 5 to 10, even 1 or 2 sets of 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 kind of at the end when you're a little fried up can really do well for you. And this is really great tips by Lee.
Don't take the easy way out saying, oh, they got work doing chest, my triceps, so I don't have to do as many sets and then complain they don't grow. So
this is really important for me to say. When you do your chest, your triceps absolutely do get work, but you can't count the sets full on because in a bench press, you get probably like half the hypertrophic stimulus per set of bench to your tris that you would in push downs or skull crushers or something like that. Because it's like half your chest doing the work, half your triceps doing the work, and you can't really trick the body otherwise. Those sets do add up. So if you do lots of chest work, you do put the triceps shit in the piggy bank. But guys, remember what the research says. We're talking 30, 40, 50 plus sets is where maybe your limit of volume and growth is. So if you're getting 20 sets of just tricep work, and then let's say 5 to 10 sets of ancillary tricep work from the chest, well, you're 25 to 30 sets. You're well on your way. Shit, you on the lower end of high volume from the research. Think about that. And after you're done thinking about that, think about this. Have you ever been sweaty, exhausted, dehydrated? You're at the gym, you don't know where to turn. You're honestly just starting to well up. And then the ceiling blows into bits. Scott, you know one of those I-beams that holds up the ceiling, right? Yeah. It just like goes, and just some lady just gets stapled right through her chest into the leg press. She's like, there's like blood and guts and everywhere. And one lady who sees that is like, and through all the screaming, guess who floats down from the ceiling, Scott? You'll never guess.
I think I can guess.
Oh, I think you can guess. Dun, dun, dun. It's Element Man. And you're like, his shirt says LMNT. And you're like, oh, yeah, they missed a couple letters, but I get it. And you're like, sir, why did you just kill that lady? And he's like, skrr. You know, like Scott the Party, like the record stops. And he looks over and he's like, oh, shit. Yeah, Element's a big company. They make a lot of money. They'll probably handle this legal shit. Anyway, I noticed you were dehydrated, sir. And you're like, well, I sure was. And then he hands you a nice container of pre-made Element seltzer water, which has in it not only all of the fluid hydration you need, but also has every single major electrolyte that you need to keep yourself replenished and energetic and strong. And so you have an amazing workout. Finish your workout, look at yourself in the mirror, you're all pumped because of the fucking salts, and you're like, God damn, Element's awesome. And then right before you walk out of the gym, you kind of look over, and the lady on the leg press, I-beam impaled, is just like decomposing at that point. She's just like this, you guys. And you're like, who the fuck approves these ads? Scott, does Element actually approve these, or we just do them?
We just do them.
Element,
never said anything.
Yeah. Scott, the ambulance shows up and they're like, damn, that lady lost a lot of blood. And Element Man busts in again. He's like, rehydration? But she's dead. By the way, where were you when this happened? And he's like, zoom, he just flies off. That's Element's problem. Anyway, Element, we have a link. There's savings. There's a description situation, and it's awesome. All right.
If this is our last Element ad read, the people will know why.
Yeah. Element says you can't talk about us anymore. Sky, they wouldn't send Element Man to try to off us, would they?
He sounds dangerous.
He sounds like he just doesn't give a shit. It's like the boys, they don't care. Hit it.
I wouldn't go starting off your week doing arms and then try to do your upper body the next day because your arms are going to be tired and sore and you might injure them trying to go heavy. So, yeah, just save them towards the end of the week,
Yo, Lee is flashing some bling at us, bro. He's got necklace, 2 earrings per ear, rings, and a couple of bracelets, and a watch, Scott. What is this?
My man. It's that Olympia money, baby.
You feel me? We bred it up out here. We stanky.
maybe your last day do arms, unless you're going to incorporate it, like I said, with another body part.
Very smart. How you organize your routine to make sure that when you train arms, they're pretty fresh. And then after you train arms, you don't train arms so that you let them recover and you don't get yourself hurt trying to push your arms too far is real smart. So maybe you have like a push day, a pull day, kind of upper body pushing, chest, triceps, shoulders, upper body pulling, back, biceps, rear delts, and then maybe take a day off. And then you have arms, shoulder, smasheroo, and then you do legs, and then whatever the rest of your program is, because that leg day after arm day means you're probably not systemically too tired because training arms isn't that hard compared to legs, but also you don't need your arms for legs, so it gives them time to recover, and it's all really hunky-dory. How you structure your program, we got tons of videos on that on this channel, especially from back in the day. All that info is still pretty good, by the way. Give those a look, but yeah, this is real smart shit.
If you're going to do 20 sets, 4 exercises, 5 sets on each isn't really that much, or 5 exercises, 4 sets on each. And like I said, if you're moving at a good pace, it's not going to take long, so don't take the cop-out way and say 6 or 9 sets because it's not enough. So.
This guy, he's like straight up calling people out, man.
If you get to the point where you keep training and the pump's just disappearing and you're tired and shit, okay, then stop. But every time I've done them, I just keep going. I could probably do more, but I just stop. After like 2 hours, that's enough.
I'm going to make a claim here. If you are still getting more of a pump as you're working out, you're probably going to be stimulating more growth. Probably so much more damage towards the end that it might not be worth it, but still stimulating growth of some kind. My hypothesis is that if your arm pump starts to decline at some point during your workout, the number of sets you've done is already so damaging that you're just digging yourself a bigger recovery hole without much upside. So I'd say is a decent heuristic to use in the gym is try to get the biggest pump you can. And whenever you have the biggest pump that you have, then it's time to stop and leave the gym. And as a matter of fact, there's so many places to go with a big pump. We have a member section with longer videos that are less rated, but we can't promise there are sexual things. Unless my innuendos get you off, then the members area is going to be great. We got tons of other bonus goodies. Go click on there. 3, 2, 1, back to the video.
When I first started, I'd probably do chest and biceps sometimes. But then if I did chest first and biceps second, next time I do biceps first and chest second.
Smart. So smart. A lot of people will do like chest and biceps and then always in that fashion. And so biceps never quite get as good of a workout as chest. And then people get baffled why their chests are such a strong point and their biceps are such a weak point. If you flip the script and you do biceps first, chest second, it will not grow your chest as much, period. But it'll grow your biceps more. And if every few months you switch chest and biceps, biceps, chest, chest and biceps, biceps, chest, you're going to have, just as an example, a very balanced routine, and all of you is going to be much more proportional.
And you do not believe in a certain exercise will
Give it a peak?
Give it a peak,
no.
or
Peaks are genetic.
This is probably like, I mean, I'm glad Lee's saying it. It's true as fuck. Exercises based on what exercise do cause architectural changes, and they can change the shape of your muscle. But this happens in the teeniest, tiniest way. And the only way we know it happens for sure still is if you use more longer muscle length training, deeper stretches, your muscles grow a little bit more towards the distal part, like the very end of your bicep close to your elbow will grow more if you train with more more long muscle lengths by a little tiny smidge. We have no idea how to make the peak bigger. That's in the middle. No idea how to make that thing go better. And still, even if all that stuff is true and there is a way to make your peak bigger with exercises, genetics plays such a massive role that this is what you do not want to happen. You have some weird exercise that trains your peak, and let's say even it does, but it doesn't make the overall biceps much bigger because it's such a focused movement. You can have small biceps with a little bit bigger of a peak, relatively speaking, so that normally people look at your biceps like, dude, your peak sucks. And now they look at your biceps and they're like, oh, okay, I guess you got a little bit of a peak there on your small biceps. And then alternatively, you use just really, really good exercises that are really fucking hardcore. You don't worry about the shape, and you get big biceps with like, yeah, your peak is like meh. And then once you get big biceps, you can start working on the peak, conserving the big biceps, enhancing that peak a little bit. So now people are like, dude, you have really big biceps and your peak's not that bad either.
You're not gonna, you either got a nice peaky bicep, or some people have a big bicep, but it's longer and flat. You're not gonna.
Scott, a bodybuilding knockoff of Victorian England drama
Okay.
Peaky biceps.
Oh, I like that.
We're fucking millionaires. See you on Netflix. You want to train right to gain muscle, but there's so much complexity to it. The RP Hypertrophy app removes all uncertainty and makes the training process precisely defined. Choose your pre-made workout plan from dozens available in the app, plug in your weights, and the app takes care of the rest for months of productive training. Ready? Click on the link in the description of this video to get started.
It seems that the more arm weights I do, my arms are barely making progress. What is the main reason why people don't get developed? Thanks.
You haven't got the genetics for it.
Oh, that's a harsh answer.
Try another sport, try basketball, bounce a ball, try cricket, try soccer. Just the thing with bodybuilding, you got to be a realist with yourself. If you were training them properly and you were resting and you were taking drugs and you were doing anything else and they still weren't growing well, you got fucked genetics.
Genetics
So
is
brutal.
brutal Australian term. Let's work through a little quick checklist for if you just aren't getting a muscle group to grow like your arms. What do you check off the box to make sure this shit actually happens for you? Number one is good technique. It's not going to make the biggest impact, but it's the easiest thing to fix and just automatically aligns all of your training. So if I see you half curling on the top half, I'm just going to be like, you're wasting everyone's time. Good technique. Another one is you're getting close to failure on all your work sets and you're really, really trying. Okay, cool. The next one is volume. And it's tough to know if you're doing too little volume, just right volume, or too much volume. But here's how I'll tell this to you guys. If your arms get really sore, like delayed onset muscle soreness for multiple days, it's unlikely your volume's too low. If your arms feel very, very fatigued after the workout and take days later to regain their strength, it's unlikely your volume is too low. If your arm training gets you a nice good pump, but then like literally the day after, you're like, I could just go train arms again, you're probably doing too little volume. That's going to be a big deal. After that is frequency. If your arms aren't big, training once a week, I would try training twice a week and even 3 times a week eventually, see if that works out. After that, there are even bigger variables. And I'll tell you right now, are you sleeping enough? Are you eating enough protein? Are you eating enough calories? And do you not have a crazy stressful life with tons of other physical and emotional activity? Because professional bodybuilders have all that cashed out. And what they do is they have amazing genetics and they sleep a ton and they train really hard and they eat super well. And so of course they're going to grow and they never, ever, ever take steroids. Mostly never not take steroids. And so if you have X'd out all of those as considerations and really explored good techniques, different volumes, making sure you're training hard enough, checking your nutrition, your sleep, and your arms still aren't growing as much as you want, then yeah, man, it's genetics. I think in about 10 years, we're going to be fixing genetics. You'll just be able to get a shot and get new genetics. That'll be great. Until then, you're just going to have to be that guy in a hoodie in the back of the club. And some girl's like, why aren't you dancing? You're like, so my arms are big enough. She's like, what was that? You're like, because my arms are big enough. And she's like, why aren't you covering up your face? It's embarrassing. Because my arms are too weak and I can't lift them up anymore. That's you guys. Think about that. Double embarrassment. Don't be that guy. And if you're that guy, stay at home. Scott, is that our big take home here? Is if you have small arms, just stay at home.
That's why you never see me anywhere.
Exactly. I've seen you cry on the back of a club a few times.
Yeah.
You were on a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
You were facing the wall. Guys, I rate Lee Prist's arm tips a 9 out of 10, and here's why. There's some stuff in there, like, the checklist for what to do if your arms don't grow, that's missing that little one. But we get 9 whole points for just talking real basics, real down-to-earth advice, as Lee Prist is very well known for. Lots of good stuff, lots of take-homes. Lee Prist, still around. He's got socials. Give him a follow. YouTube, give him a follow. It's all really good stuff. And listen, a picture of Lee Prist before arm day will do the one of two things. Really depress you that you'll never look like that, or inspire the living shit out of you. And I hope it's the latter. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. That was fun. No. Was that an Australian no? It sure as hell was. This video here, I don't know if it's going to have Australian nose in it or not, but it might be good fun. And hey, for the whole family. See you guys next time. Don't show this to your family.